Buddy, hold on one second. Here we go. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Positive Principle. How are you, everybody? Great to see you. Happy Tuesday. Hello, John. Good to see you from Hamilton. Great to have you here, and welcome to the Positive Principle, the show where hopefully you will walk away a little bit more thinking about something, a little bit more positive, or just opens your mind or your spirit to something new. And hey, Polly, how are you?
Hi, Max. Hello, everybody. I kind of feel like today's topic is a little spicy.
I like spice.
Thinking of mind opening, right?
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about that. It's so great. It's so great. Well, let's catch people up on some stuff with us before we get into our topic. And I do want to say, everybody, that if you are here on HAPS, definitely put in your questions, your comments, because we love to read them to know exactly what you're thinking about our topic. And also, if you're on Facebook right now, just know that it's kind of difficult for us to hear or see your comments. But come over to HAPS. We would love that. So let's do a little review about how our week was. How was your week?
Oh my week is really good. My husband's here from Alaska because he goes back and forth. And so it's always kind of like a vacation when he's here because it's just, it's out of the ordinary, right? You get food and you eat out by the pool, that type of stuff versus the normal chore type stuff. And there was a lynx in my backyard. The coyotes are out, like packs of coyotes are out. I had a lovebird at my bird feeder yesterday. So very cool.
Whoa, a lynx.
Yeah,
Tell
it was
us
so
about
cool.
that.
It just was going through I have like this cactus garden where when I do readings and stuff, when people come to my house, we work outside. And literally like right past our house, just kind of sauntering because that's where the bunnies and the birds are. So I'm sure it was diving into his restaurant, sadly.
Wow. Oh.
So it was very cool.
Oh, that is really cool. I love it. Wildlife. Wow.
Yeah.
The most wildlife I've seen is I saw a squirrel in the park, and I saw lots of dogs, a squirrel, and I have some real creatures behind me that are going a little crazy right now. So I had that, and it's we had snow again, and it was really great. And yeah, it's good. A lot of good things happening here in New York. We're opening on Valentine's Day. We're opening our dining back up to 25%, which is really a great thing. So that's a good thing. Working on my tonight is the second session of my Manifesting a Miracle Mindset Challenge, and everyone's doing good with that. And that went really well. So today is the second one. So excited about that. Lots of good things. A lot of good energy.
Yeah. That's very interesting that New York is just now opening because I looked at Arizona's numbers and they're definitely much lower than they were a month ago. I mean, like a month ago, I think we had a day where we had 11,000 new cases or something. Mm-hmm. But they've dropped way down, but we never really, everything's pretty much been life as normal. I mean, you're supposed to wear a mask when you go into a store.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't like New York.
I mean, it was hardcore, and then they opened the restaurants. It was late summer, for 25% capacity, and then it spiked up again, and they closed it again, and so we're gonna open them again. But unfortunately, a lot of restaurants are now gone.
Oh,
A lot,
that's good.
a lot. It's really sad,
Huh.
really sad. So
Interesting.
you know, it's rough. It's rough, and our heart go and prayers go out to all these people that have lost businesses,
Yeah, absolutely.
especially the restaurant business, It's rough. So, all right. So, yeah, that's about it. Let's see. Hello to Alicia on YouTube. Hello to Mel. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, should we jump in?
We should, but I have to share like how I got that topic, the topic of the day.
Okay, I love it.
So I am doing a retreat in Sedona in May, and it's on a piece of property like a sacred piece of property, and it's all inclusive. So they serve I guess they serve fish. They don't serve anything that walks on the planet, but they do serve fish, and I guess they serve dairy. But when you look at when you look at the guidelines for when you come to the retreat, you can't bring meat, you can't bring alcohol, and you can't bring psychedelics. And so I was just telling, one of my family members that you can't bring psychedelics, and they're like, well, you can bring other stuff. And I was like, well, I think they're doing it because like ayahuasca, there's so many there's so many people that use like ayahuasca and other psychedelics as a spiritual experience, right? And so it was interesting because she'd watched a documentary about how it was a positive thing for them. And I was like, great topic, right? Because I know people, I have clients that have done it, that do it as a practice, right? Mm-hmm. It's not something I would ever do, but it's a great topic.
Right. Right. It is a great topic. I love the topic. I think it's great. So are we talking about, when you were talking about psychedelics, I think listen, when you said this before we started, I was like, oh, I have a lot of opinions about that, and I also have a lot to say about it. But I think just in general, I have to be really honest. First of all, I've never done ayahuasca. I haven't done ayahuasca, but I have done many psychedelics in my life. And I believe very strongly that the psychedelics that I have done have helped me a lot. And I think that, of course, we have to say under supervision. Because, and I'll just tell you this, and this is what I believe, is that I feel like the brain is all relative to what we have created, right? Our reality, right? And so what psychedelics do is that it works with the brain chemicals. There's more to it than the ayahuasca and everything. It breaks those walls of that reality for you. And one of the things I believe in really as a true spiritual path is to break down what you believe is real. And so you can find that flow, that ease, and that thing that's going on and on and on without you giving meaning to everything. And I believe that is a really great thing. I also think for myself that if you haven't done it by a certain age, you probably, maybe, I don't know, ayahuasca is different, maybe shouldn't, because it might be so shocking to your brain, because you perceive yourself, everything, the world, completely differently. That's my first little thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I personally, I wouldn't do it. To me, it's just like, it's a no-go. But I don't know. I guess it's partly because I think a little bit like the way you and I work, I just feel like my connection, I'm pretty, I barely drink alcohol. I just feel like that's an important way that I work, and it's much, it's just the way I am. But I do think it's interesting that like people are using the microdosing of the mushrooms right now, and that's really, and that's helping people. And honestly, I don't believe that there's something different from that than taking the other, that's measured, blah blah blah. But there's not something different from that than taking medication for like psych medication. I think it's probably pretty similar. The ayahuasca, I think, is interesting because one of the things about it is you do have you vomit copious amounts supposedly, and so that is a purging, right? And so I guess if you do have breakthrough, if you are like breaking barriers, if you are purging, if you are letting go of stuff, then yeah, I can see how it could help you or not. But I mean, here's the thing, Max. It's like everything that we talk about. I don't think we need anything, right, to get to that place. Ultimately,
I agree with you. I don't think that we need it, but I will tell you this: that it fast tracks you of breaking out of the chains of what you believe is reality. And I think that is really powerful, really powerful. And I do want to say it's completely different than drinking. It's not the same at all. It's a psychotropic drug, so it's working with your brain. So it's not like drinking, and not even totally like smoking pot, but it is very different. So I mean, it's like it's all personal choice. That's for sure. It's all personal choice.
yeah.
But the ayahuasca thing is so popular. It's so popular now. And I do know what I do know about it is that it's very sacred work. It's very sacred, and it's very, it's from, the jungles of Peru, and it's plant medicine, and you need a guide that really knows what they're doing to take you through it. A friend of mine has done it 3 times, but would never do it like around here. Literally goes to the jungles of Peru, and it's like a week long of therapy, of sitting there and talking and getting things out and dealing with your shadows and all that stuff before you even take it, and they take it very, very, very seriously. It's not like, well, I'm just gonna go take some ayahuasca and have a trip. It's very intense. So I gotta really respect it like that. But I hear people like, oh, I did ayahuasca this weekend and it was really great. And I'm like, really? That seems very counterintuitive to what I think it's about, but I could be wrong. You know what
I mean? No, I mean, there are retreats that's in South America, and that's it. I mean, you go there for that experience. I can't remember. There's one that I know of that's very popular for it, and that's what you go for, right? And then they have some, like maybe a week, a month, you go there, and they don't do the ayahuasca thing. But it's interesting because, I mean, ultimately, like I said, I believe that we can get to that point of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
With or without, right? But when I was in Alaska, there was somebody that was doing these like the ayahuasca, whatever we want to call them. It was not really a retreat because literally people would come. She'd put people in the hotel room, so maybe you'd have 8 people in the hotel room. Mm-hmm. You vomit. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine. That would be my hell, to be 8 people in a hotel room on some type of drug and you're vomiting. Just don't take me there. Mm-hmm. I don't care how healing that is. It's not going to happen.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of things. I mean, let's look at the comment. Cynthia says there is a huge movement in Canada regarding microdosing cyclopens. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it just reminds me of in the 60s, LSD and Timothy Leary and Alan Watts and what they discovered about what LSD did. Later, they did psilocybin. But, and then what happened was they were realizing that it was helping so many people with their psychological problems because of exactly what I was talking about. It breaks people out of their reality to see that there's another way of being in the world and in themselves and in life. And then what happened is the government got involved. And then the government said, you can't do this. Well, one of the main things is it was really funded by what? The psychology lobby.
Oh, right.
Yep. And so it just makes you think, huh? And, but Timothy Leary's never let go of the idea that it was very beneficial. Alan Watts did it. A lot of different people that were really, they were still like, it might be illegal, and now you're right. They're starting to do microdosing of psilocybin and LSD and everything because it slowly starts to change the way you sit in your skin and your body. And there's the people doing it for there because it's now like re-released for psychologists that are trained to do it for really deep depressive states.
Yeah.
Also.
It's legal now, I think, in Colorado, the microdosing. But Ram Dass was a big proponent, whatever, of psychedelic. And Ram Dass is like he's very well respected as a spiritual teacher, right?
Of course. And yes, because he kind of said what we're talking about. It's like, it just like gets you so that you can have this other perspective, and it's really powerful. Really, really powerful. Mm-hmm.
I think, I think it's interesting. And like so I was actually hiking with my daughter, and so she said she watched some documentary, and it was like Goop Tribe or whatever. Anyhow, so she watched the documentary, and they interviewed different people, and then they went to South America and had did the ayahuasca. And so one of them was in deep grief because of the loss of her father, and so when she left, it wasn't like he came to her or anything, but it just really helped her purge a lot of the grief. And I think, if we think about purging, we think about, the side effects of this drug, that makes sense. Then there was another guy, I guess, who was gay and had never had a relationship. He really wanted that. And so she said that he laughed, like he just laughed during it. And when he left, it changed everything so that he could see it wasn't like, don't take it so seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See? Yeah. Then it works, then it can work, and I think that, I mean, well, you and I are the same. It's like, whatever works, do it. Whatever works, do it.
Don't hide behind it, right? Like, I mean, I think this is one of the things that in spirituality or whatever, wherever you are in your life, it's so easy to grab hold of something and hide behind it. So to think that you need this as your tool, to think that you need astrology, to think that you need your guru, do not hide behind it.
I so agree with that. Because it's like, then it becomes what like I would say is magic. Like, you need this to get that. Well, you don't need that. You don't need that. And it comes back to that thing of the meaning that you give to everything, right? So, and I think that I'm totally on track with that, because now I'm seeing, people that are just, from my opinion, some people that aren't ready to have those big shifts, they're not ready. They're not ready to go there, to go to a place where their whole reality starts to be altered.
Right.
And so it becomes kind of like the in vogue thing to do. And I don't think that's healthy at all, actually.
Well, and I think, it's so easy to grab hold of something. If you have the propensity to be somebody that gets stuck or that grabs hold of things, that can be grabbing hold of a cure. That can be grabbing hold of whatever that you think is your savior. There's nothing to grab hold of, right? And I think that that's the piece, to recognize that all of this just flows. And so there's literally nothing you can grab hold of that is your savior, or that is the answer, or the guidance. It's not something that you can grab hold of. It's not something you just have to know it's there, but it's not this thing to latch onto. Yeah.
For sure, because the latching onto is what keeps you from experiencing it in the first place, right? Why don't you read there what Roberta is saying?
I think that's interesting. Roberta in Arizona says, being in the medical field, once I mentioned to others in the field, they think it's crazy and unsafe. Just take pills, they say. But Roberta, I could say, like, I know people that in the medical field that I think it depends on who you're working with, because I know people that would be definitely open to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, if it's something, not it. like in Colorado, where I know that I'm sure that they're measuring it. It's it's measured, blah blah blah. So it's not
Mhm.
like you don't know if you get 10 grams or if you get 5 grams, right? So if it's a measurable dose,
Mhm.
I think that there are people in the medical field that would say it's okay, and I know some that would be
Right.
upset of it.
Or Roberta is in Arizona, like you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they live here or not. They live elsewhere.
Helen, my friend Helen says it's a crutch to lean on, referring to what we talked about. And I think that that's a very interesting thing because I believe that if there is, this is the paradox of all great spirituality, is that if you need help, get the help. So it's
Yeah,
not but if you're depending on the help, that's the whole different thing. So it's kind of like, sometimes you need a crutch. You need a little like
yeah,
kick in the ass to move forward that you can't do yourself. So it's like you ask for help, and sometimes it comes in this form of ayahuasca or LSD or something like that, for sure. So there's nothing wrong with having a crutch or asking for help. Otherwise, listen, you and I wouldn't have a job,
this is true.
right? For sure, for sure. Um, and Helen also said there's lots of money involved in prescribed medicine.
Yes.
That's right. Follow the money. Follow the money. Yeah,
Yeah.
Helen. That's right. Not dependence. Yeah, because then it becomes you replace. In my view, you're you're replacing God, the pill for God. No,
Yeah.
you can go
Well, you're
straight to God.
replacing something. I think it's and if you think about, well, so I used to be a nurse a million years ago, but you're taught that, like, psych meds, they take 2 to 6 weeks to work. It's not like this, and some of them don't work, and then
Hmm.
people take them and they stop taking them because they don't like the side effects. So it's really like anything,
Yeah.
right? It's
Hmm.
it's there's no tried or true thing, and honestly, if we're talking about people with anxiety, or if we're talking about people that really have something like that, I I would be like, oh, there's a kitty. I would say try that in a secure or in a safe, with somebody that knows what they're doing, because it is so. I mean, it's crippling for some people, the anxiety that they suffer. I mean,
Oh, it's
tackle it
just
from different ways, but
horrible.
it is
It's
horrible.
horrible and it's debilitating and it stops
It is.
you from everything. And it's just, I feel like, and that's why, CBD oils and all that stuff has become so popular because it's helped so many people to just kind of take a breath. Really, 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 really important. I feel like
Yeah.
that's so important. I was going to say something and Velma just distracted me, so it's all good. I was being upstaged. That's right. I was being upstaged. Never do a show with animals or children because they will always upstage
True.
you. Upstage you. um, but I think that this is really important for us to look at. Oh, this is what I was going to say. I was going to say that from Course in Miracles point of view is what I teach, is that the Course in Miracles would say, if your belief is that the pill is going to help you, take the pill.
Yeah.
Um, but if the belief, more specifically, it says, not verbatim, but if the pill engenders fear, don't take the pill
Yeah.
because it's what you're creating in it. That's very different than kind of Christian Science that are like no blood transfusions, no drugs, no anything because I'm just going to go right to God. That's fine for them. But if you can't quite go to God, then take the pill.
Yeah. If it feels right to you. Exactly. If it feels right to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think for me, I would be, say it was a loved one that wants to do it. I would be, like the mushroom, the psychedelic thing. I would want it to be done in, go to Colorado and do it where I don't know how it's done, but do it in where it is measured and where they know, where they're following it, right?
Right.
Because,
Well,
um,
I want to, I want to say this about, we're definitely talking about, psychotropic drugs, right? We're not talking about downers or opiates
oh,
or any of those things for sure, or even alcohol or whatever. But,
exactly.
MDMA, ecstasy, the pure form of ecstasy, is also used, and that's used really, really effectively, actually, if they know what to do. And, I've done MDMA a lot in my life. And it is one of those drugs that, of course, I wasn't under a doctor's supervision, but it's one of those things that opens up something in you. And I'm a pretty loving, free, fun person, right? But it really does open up this part of you that just says, it's all good. The love, the flow, and people go, well, that's not really true. Yes, it's true. While you're experiencing the love, the flow, the openness, the connected to other people, especially when you do it in a safe environment with friends or whatever. And when you have those kind of top of the mountain experiences of just the endorphins, just so loving and beautiful and just joyous feelings, and then when you come off of that, it is implanted in you so that you know that vibrational field of that extreme love, that extreme joy is possible. Where a lot of people, they never get there. But if you have that little glimmer of it, you go, oh, it is possible. And then everything changes.
Okay, but have you, like, I've connected to that just, I won't, I mean, I'll say it's meditation, but it's not truly meditation. It's like when I connect to that energy field, right? When I'm doing meditation or maybe doing an event or something, I connect to that where it is just that extreme level. And it's like so intense. I mean, it practically makes you cry. I mean, it brings tears because it's so intense. So again, it's possible to connect to that without.
Okay, so for someone that's had both, me,
Yeah,
through meditation, through fasting, through meditation, through hardcore, this way, doing it this way, and doing it like that, it's a very different experience. I can't explain it to you, Polly. It's not that I'm right or wrong. It's just there is something that it does to you. And I think that it's, like I said before, I'm really thankful that I've done these things because I feel like I can now go, that's possible. When I'm really down or it's like, I go, oh yeah, that's there. I mean, you can get there, but there's a difference because it's like your body just does it. And you're just like, I'm free. Love, joy, wow. Just it's really great. So, but I get it. I understand. And
I mean, I think this would be the thing that would be interesting is to have, and I've wanted to do this anyhow, like to have some type of brain thing, like when you go into, like when we do the stuff we do. I think it would be so interesting to see like what our brains look like. Like say, what does my brain look like when I go to that place? And what does the brain look like if somebody takes that drug, right?
I'm sure there's a ton of that research. I bet you. We should look it up and bring it back to the show.
Well, I should, but I don't know if I will, Max. To be honest, I have so many things that I should do. It's like, oh God.
Listen, I could just type up right here and be like, brain research on meditation and psychotropic drugs. It will show it for sure. It will show it for sure. There's no doubt about it. So, I bet you. I'll do some work. I'll look it up a little bit and I'll send it to you because I feel like it's got to affect it. Go ahead.
And I have thought. I think I would actually like to see what my brain does, like when we do what does it look like when we do this stuff, right? How does it change, like when we go into those really deep, whatever we're doing, right? Because cognitively, it changes so much. Like seriously, as soon as I start talking about it, my brain starts changing. And the more I do in each day, then here's the thing. I will be doing what I do and doing a class. I can't even remember names. Like, because my brain changes so much.
It does for sure. I mean, even to the effect, to the slightest thing of, I do know this to be true, is that when people shallow breathe, they've looked at brain, how the brain is reacting to breath, right? Yeah. And so when the two hemispheres of the brain, one is the analytical and one is the creative side, basically. And so when people have shallow breath, the part that's really analytical, I forget which hemisphere it is, left or right, I forget. Someone can tell me. But that side is really lit up when you shallow breathe. But as soon as you take deep breaths, and this is why breathing is so important, and when you
Yeah.
exercise and do yoga, the whole brain starts to light up. And it starts to, all the energy and the synapses of both sides start to light up. And so just something as simple as that, you can start to alter your physiology. That's why you feel so good when everyone right now takes a big deep breath.
Mm-hmm.
You're different. Your brain is different. So of course, when you're meditating and when you're dropping acid,
You're so funny. Your brain is different.
hey, it's true. It's true.
It is so interesting though, and even oh god, now I can't remember the name of the book, but it was a neurosurgeon who had a near-death experience.
Yes, I know. What's her
Right, but
woman?
if you read, like, did you read the book?
I didn't, but I've seen her talk a lot. What's her name?
Well, it's a guy.
Oh,
And
it's the other woman that had the heart died. Anyway, go ahead.
okay, anyhow, so he was a neurosurgeon and had a near-death experience. I can't remember it, but anyhow, it is so interesting because what he experienced on the other side, and he was on the other side for a long time before he came back. It was very interesting because you literally would think, oh, this sounds like somebody on an acid trip.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. And from somebody that has, I've had my near-death experience, and it is very similar. It's like this freedom that you're just like, it's so hard to explain. There's a freedom in it that you can't ever feel when you're in your body, and you can.
Yeah.
But the drug kind of gives it that, or depending on the drug, if you take mushrooms, you just laugh a lot, which is really fun. Depending on what, all of it's also circumstantial. But I think that, it's just so important for us, this conversation, and for everyone listening. It's so important that we really realize that we're looking through our lens, lens. And anything that's going to help us to open our lens up, and you feel right about it, and you feel safe about it, more power to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think it doesn't matter like how aware or whatever you want to use that word, how whatever open you are. When we're here, our experiences do definitely color the lens that we view things. They just do. And even I do believe that as anyhow, for myself, I can say that as I gain a certain way of thinking or seeing the world or understanding spirituality, some of the ways I used to think are no longer available to me. It's like, it's kind of like when you say fear is not on the other side, right? There's certain things that are no longer available to me in the way I process. But I know that there's still a lot of things that, just for example of this, like we're talking about taking psychedelic drugs, I would be like, no, right? Because for whatever reason, that's a no-go for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Right? Yeah, for sure. Mel says some people with their genetic predisposition, it can cause bad side effects. I'm sure, and it can be, and that comes back to the point I made at the beginning, is that that's one thing that I really see, is that maybe it's not even genetic, but it's how firmly they are entrenched in their personal reality.
Yeah.
Because if you're entrenched in your personality so intensely that it's so fearful for you to start to open up, then definitely don't do it. Definitely don't do it.
Yeah.
For sure.
When I was in nursing school, I volunteered in a pediatric ER on Friday nights. And so, there's all sorts of crap that would come in. There was a little girl that came in. She was probably 8 or something. And she had taken a lot of hallucinogens. And she was okay. I mean, she wasn't like scared. She wasn't freaking, but she was, and her parents weren't around. I didn't get the whole picture. But anyhow, she wasn't like panicked or anything. But it's good that somebody brought her in.
Well, that kind of proves my point, too, is that when you're younger, you're not as entrenched in reality.
Yeah.
So you're a lot more open to experiences and seeing things. But the longer we live, in general, the more we're entrenched and concretized into our personal reality.
Well, and just let's look at we have people move differently through the world. So sometimes age has nothing to do with it. I mean, you just move differently through the world. There are some people that just they can flow with things. And I mean, even as infants, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
infants already have a personality of the way they're going to move through the world. And
Yeah.
it's the craziest thing. But you can take a brand new baby and
Mm-hmm.
how that infant reacts to stimuli. There you have it.
Yeah.
That's their life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. And you as a mother really know that, because you could see that the baby that came out the day that your three kids came out, they're basically the same person as when the day they came out, right?
They really are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I mean, they've grown and changed, of course,
their
but they're
reactions, right? Their reactions to stimuli, I think, is the way we would look at it, or the
mm-hmm.
way I would say is their reactions to stimuli. But what is life?
Mm-hmm.
Life is all about reaction or not reaction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What does Helen say here?
Doesn't appeal to me either, but I know why. I'm scared of not being in control. I had my drink spiked once and had zero control. I kept blacking out. That's scary. And I was completely at the mercy of. That's very scary.
That's really scary. Now that's really, really scary. And that is something that's like anything that we're talking about now should be of your own
Yeah.
volition to do, for sure. There's no doubt.
And research also, right? Like, it's not, unless I could be completely wrong. I mean, I don't think you can knock on your neighbor's door and get this stuff. But research before
Depends on what neighborhood you're in.
Right. And you never know. But research before you participate, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. And you know, that whole MDMA thing is, and just go back to my experience for a second, is that back in the day, they used to be able to get like really pure MDMA. It was pharmacy grade, and so it was really strong, and it was really pretty incredible. And then you know, I've done it probably 10, 12 times in my life, and then but later on, it just got more and more filled with speed. So you got a little bit of it, but it was just, what it did was it just kept you awake. And I'm like, this is not like the same stuff at all. It had a little time, so it was really watered down with another drug. And so, you don't mess around with that at all. Don't mess around with any of this without, so, but that's the truth. And I just take my chances. I just took my chances. I haven't done things in a long time, but yeah, be careful. For
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, definitely if this is what you want to do, you want to go to some retreat for this stuff, do your research. And hopefully go to one that this is what they do and not as some guy that's like deciding to do it on, to make a few bucks.
Go down to Washington Square Park. Hey.
Yeah. Really do your research.
Do your research, for sure.
And also have somebody, like a trusted person, right? That's another thing. Like, I wouldn't decide to do anything unless you have a trusted person with you. And I'm not advocating this, by the way.
Well, listen, and then we can kind of wrap up, is that one thing I do know about the times that I've done it is that there's only been, I've done LSD, I've done quite a few things. I've never shot anything with a needle.
Oh, God.
But it definitely, the environment and the people that you're around has so much to do with it, for sure. There's no doubt about it. And so I'll always do it only with the people I really love and really have a great time with, and in an environment that feels safe. You know what I mean? And even at a concert, you could feel safe. But just like being with your friends and hanging out and whatever, it's really safe and it's loving and it's great. You definitely want to. Yeah, for sure.
Because I think it's so good that you said that about the needle, because that just makes me cringe. But look at, there are, why do people take drugs? A lot of them, there's some imbalance and they take it because of, for briefly.
Self-medicating.
But a lot of them do it because they can hide from it. And anybody that's, the whole needle thing is like, oh. But what are you doing? You're escaping.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which is the opposite of what we're talking about, is to expand, to use it to expand, not to escape. You're using
Yeah.
it to advance, to expand, a completely different reason. It's a very different thing. Very different thing.
I had this one person contact me because her brother crossed over because of a heroin overdose, and I think he was like, I don't know if he's a businessman, but like functioning person with family, and it happened so fast to him. I could hear the blood rushing in his ears. He died like that, like it wasn't intentional. And it happened so fast. It reminded me of being on a train. I mean, it literally, like what he experienced at that time of his death was like this whirling of like being on a train, and it just was like that.
Yeah.
And not intended. I mean, he did not intend to cross over.
Right. Whereas, yeah. Just be careful, people. Just be really careful. That's all.
Yeah.
And that is sad. It's sad. Hi, Donald. Good to see you. Retreating to my bathtub. Yeah, I think it's important having someone with you that you trust, of course. Always.
Yeah.
In life it is.
Yes, it is.
That's right. Hey, I've been shuffling these cards. Should I pick a card for all of us?
Sure.
Hey, Helen is in Edinburgh, and I was on her broadcast last night, and I got these cards in Edinburgh on Victoria Street.
Cool.
These cards. They always remind me of Scotland.
Yeah,
So they're great. They're great. Do you want to see that again? Sorry, everybody. You can see them. Vintage Oracle cards. I really like them a lot. They're really good. So I'll pick something for all of us. Let's see. Should we have a specific question, Polly?
Let's see. Let's do something about guidance. I like that. Internal guidance, internal awareness.
Okay, for everybody here. What do we need to know about our internal guidance? So everyone here, please close your eyes for a moment and take a big deep breath with me. Okay. All right, let's see. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I immediately, when I close my eyes, I start getting things even before the card comes. And so this is the card that I picked. I'll just show it to you. I started to see a map. And I literally saw the X and the map going like this, like walking up, and so in guidance map immediately, which is interesting. And look at the one we got.
Oh, how funny. That is funny.
New beginnings. Oh, I got to do it this way. New beginnings. Look at how beautiful that card is too, right?
That is pretty.
Yeah.
I like that card.
So, this is really telling us is that, and I feel this, I think you feel this too, is right now, there is such the vibration of new beginnings. Is such the vibration. Obviously, there's political new beginnings, there's physical new beginnings, there's endings and beginnings happening right now. So with your guidance for everyone here, I think it's really important to realize that, well, obviously it's true, in any moment can be a new beginning. But start to really take on, everybody, this idea that, okay, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's move forward. Because I feel like that's the kind of vibration and the kind of overall tenor of vibration that's really going to help our whole society and humankind to be like, all right, let's go. So everyone in your life, look at your life like it's a new beginning right now. We can let it go. Oh my God, so much about this is so interesting. A lot about, if you're in the Miracle Mindset Challenge right now, you know what I'm talking about. Because we're using the analogy of sailing on a ship. And you can't sail on your ship if you have a lot of cargo. So, yeah. So, that's good. Does that apply to you?
Well, I think that 2021 definitely has that energy of, things are changing fast. And look at I'll say potentially, right? I think that there's a lot of opportunity for things to change fast. And whenever we have changed, we have new beginnings in some aspect, right?
For sure. Dump the baggage. That's right. Helen, you should be in my class. You should be in the challenge, right? Oh my God, I'm seeing Facebook comments. Never see them. That's crazy. Janice Lee says, I feel like March will be a new beginning for me. I'm really looking forward to that month. Good. That's great. I love that. Oh
And
my gosh.
actually,
Go
like,
ahead.
I feel like overall, April and then May really opens up. But it's like the spring really does start opening up in terms. I mean, May there really is this big opening in terms of like people just like financial and being able to do feel like things have lifted, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. For sure. I love it. Well, really great show today. Thanks for bringing up that topic, Polly.
Absolutely. Oh, I wanted to. So starting next week, I'm going to do it on every Fridays. I will be interviewing people. I believe have an artist on next week. So interviewing people that are either spiritual leaders, and of course, I'll have to interview Max, spiritual leaders. Or inspirational people, and we will find out their greatest message for you and for me, for all of us. And then I also want to mention, if you are looking for a retreat in Arizona, Sedona, Arizona, I have one. It's May 6th. It's all inclusive. May 6th, you check in and check out on May 9th. So all inclusive. It's going to be very small. And it is at the Mago Retreat or Wellness Center. So if you're interested, contact me.
That's great.
I'm
love
so
it. I love it.
excited about it.
I know. It's so good. So good. Yeah. And how do they contact you, Polly?
They can find me on my website, which is pollywyram.com. You can actually contact me on Instagram, which is polly_Wyram, or they can leave a message on this, right?
No, they can't. But
Oh,
did you connect their social links on your profile?
yep.
Okay, so they can go to your profile and go to your Instagram and send you something.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. And listen, I'll be here tomorrow doing our Course in Miracles teaching circle at 12 noon. If for some reason you want to join our challenge, we have like 77 people in it. And it's Tuesday night. So if you want to contact me on Instagram, and we still have 3 more weeks for the challenge, Miracle Mindset Challenge, and it is doesn't cost you anything, and it's a lot of fun, and you're going to learn a lot already. So if you're interested in that, go to my Instagram here, attract positive results, and let me know. And we will see you next week, right, Polly?
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.